Okay, so we're taking Vegeta away from Dragon Ball, and instead he's entering the King of Iron Fist tournament.
The Saiyan clan once rivaled even the Mishimas, which was the exact reason why they were exterminated. As they attempted to rebuild before the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3, Heihachi once again ordered an assault that wiped them out completely. The lone Saiyan survivor, a young boy named Vegeta, was found and taken in by the Briefs family, the owners of a small upstart company known as Capsule Corporation. Enhancing his training and physical skill, they helped the boy grow to serve as a protector of the company. Now a man, Vegeta, serving both himself and Capsule Corporation, is looking for revenge by entering the King of Iron Fist Tournament 8. He looks to destroy G Corporation and the Mishima Zaibatsu, not just for Capsule Corp, but to eliminate all remaining Mishimas, with his fists.
You freak! If any Dragon Ball character belonged in the Tekken Universe, honestly it's Goku. But today I wanted someone more violent to deal with, so Vegeta is the perfect experiment. And experiment is the key word here. In placing him in the perfect time period, I felt like it was the easiest to drop him in Tekken 8. For the lore I'm creating for Vegeta, it's the best idea to place him in either Tekken 3 or 7, somewhere where there's a beginning and a finality towards all of the Mishima issues. Believe it or not, Tekken 8 has both. So as his story suggested, Vegeta is still a Saiyan. He is still prideful of his heritage, and he's still obsessed with being and beating the best. There's no way he would be Vegeta otherwise. The key differences are that the Saiyans aren't an alien race in Tekken, they're a clan that was slaughtered by the Mishimas. Also, Vegeta is working with Capsule Corporation, which is an upstart company in Tekken, as opposed to being one of the most powerful mega corporations in Dragon Ball. And both have the goal of taking down the Mishimas via G Corporation and the Zaibatsu. Taking an angle like this also conveniently leaves me a potential for a Bulma tie-in for Vegeta later on, if their son Trunks was to make a future Tekken appearance. Vegeta's rivals would also have to be amongst the strongest in the lore as well. Obviously this would be every known Mishima currently living. Heihachi, Reina, Lars, Jin, Kazuya, with his most obvious targets being Heihachi and Kazuya. And to be honest, that's the bane of this video. The idea of a Kazuya versus Vegeta matchup is pretty crazy when you think about it. In the case of Tekken Vegeta, the Mishimas would simply replace Goku as the mountain that Vegeta would have to struggle to overcome, if he ever does. To further flesh his story out, Vegeta will maybe learn that the Saiyans' demise weren't all the Mishima's fault and that they were on the verge of becoming monsters themselves. Basically, there's not a difference between the two clans, and if it didn't happen to the Saiyans, it would have happened to the Mishimas. Vegeta would then look to redefine what it means to be a Saiyan, which is a perfect type of inner conflict for Tekken, to be quite honest. So now that we've established a bit of Vegeta's lore, how would he actually fight? Well, it's Tekken, so to start off with, Vegeta isn't going to be doing a bunch of flying. This isn't a typical 2D fighter we're talking about here. He needs to be grounded, but with important factors to keep in mind. He's still Vegeta, so he needs to be fast, his attacks need to hit quickly while having a high risk reward to him, but simultaneously he's also very, very, very strong. So he needs to have powerful hits as well. A Tekken character that's this degree of short but still packing an insane punch is pretty interesting. I thought about a few Tekken movesets that would fit whatever the equivalent of a Tekken Vegeta would be. In my mind, he should be a monstrous blend of the following characters: Paul, Lars, Brian, and Fang. Just hear me out. Paul and Brian's punches and chain combos would fit a lot of the power blows that Vegeta's moveset would kinda need. Fang's quick and unorthodox kicks would also fit Vegeta. And then the wild and very unsafe nature of Lars' attacks scream Vegeta in that risk-reward category that I mentioned earlier. Vegeta has taken a considerable amount of L's in his day, so having attacks that are very punishable is sadly kinda fitting for him. And I say that with him as my favorite Dragon Ball character. His rage art could be any type of combinations of Jin's Tekken 7 rage art, along with a mix of sort of Paul's rage art and Lars's. Something with a lot of high jumping, a lot of fast attacks, and then a couple of power blows thrown in just to balance things out. Honestly, any cinematic Vegeta attacks from like a Dragon Ball Xenoverse or Sparking Zero would be a perfect rage art for him in Tekken 8. And now that that's out of the way, let's look at his design. Of all of the looks of Vegeta to use for his base design, his Buu Saga look and his End of Z look seem the most fitting for the King of Iron Fist. While I love the armored looks of Vegeta, they seem like they would make for very good customization accessories more than anything else. So rolling with the more martial arts looks for Vegeta, I also decided to close in that Widow's Peak some. Vegeta's hairline would look insane for a young man in its current form. I couldn't do that to him. So I didn't necessarily give him a balanced hairline, just slightly more realistic in how big of a Widow's Peak he actually has. Not that it matters that much, he still looks crazy. I also, oddly enough, wanted to design Vegeta to look like, for lack of a better term, a twin to Kazuya. The similarities between Kaz and Vegeta are pretty strong, so I wanted him to have more of a martial arts look that also made the two of them look like similar or close opposites. Similarly to Kazuya, I added a design to his right pant leg, specifically the royal logo for the Saiyans in Dragon Ball. I figured for a logo to use that's a deep enough cut for Vegeta to actually place on his clothes. I also always loved Vegeta's boots design in Dragon Ball, so I used that style for both his pants and his gloves here. This is the full tournament version of Vegeta for Tekken 8 when I had the entire design completed. Seems like a decent enough reflection of his Dragon Ball version and something that would fit in the Tekken game. Now, before I go forward, I would like to apologize for his alternate design. But knowing Tekken 8's wild alternates, I kinda couldn't help myself. The same way that Kazuya is part of G Corporation but by force, I wanted Vegeta to be a willing participant of Capsule Corporation, seeing their assistance as a means to an end more than anything else. For that reason, his alternate is a Capsule Corporation design that is highly inspired by the pink Badman look from Dragon Ball. Again, I couldn't help myself. I gave him a vest with the Capsule Corp logo on the front, assuming that the Batman logo would be on back of the vest and the t-shirt somewhere. Why? Don't know, doesn't matter. I didn't give him the gold pants, instead I gave him something closer to khakis here. And I also added diamond earrings just to make the idea of this design a little more absurd and goofy than it already is. It would have been the easiest thing in the world for me, honestly, to give him like a cool hoodie design like Jin or the casual clothes he wore at the end of Dragon Ball Z. Hell, I almost gave him a flight jacket. But for an odd alternate look, which Tekken 8 has a plethora of them, the Batman look seemed perfect to me. Just something that's almost non-fitting or completely absurd just seemed like the right thing to do here in my mind. I mean, come on, look at Paul's default design in Tekken 8. In all honesty, taking a character like Vegeta and placing him in Tekken on paper seemed like more of a challenge than it actually was. Vegeta at the end of the day is proud of his people, and at the very least will stop at nothing to prove he's the best. The King of Iron Fist tournament is the perfect proving grounds for a character like him to show that off. The revenge factor against the Mishimas also does a decent job of making them his equivalent of Tekken Freezes. So without the key ingredients of Dragon Ball, he still fits in very, very well here. But let me know what you think about a Tekken Vegeta. Could it work or could it not work, and why? In any event, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And you all have a good one, and I'm out.